Hey guys and gals, James Stacey here with another aBlogtoWatch video review. Today we're taking a look at a hotly anticipated watch for this year from Baselworld, the new Tudor Ranger. You're looking at a 41mm wide satin finished steel case, 12.2mm thick. It's 85 grams on the fabric strap, kind of NATO style strap we have here. 48mm lug to lug with 22mm lug width, so really easy to work with other straps, especially because, ta-da, drilled lugs. Great inclusion. You get a screw down crown, so 150 meters water resistance. It's a domed sapphire crystal. It's a crystal that's designed to look like a vintage style crystal, so there's a definitive lip before it curves over, and then there's a very slight dome across the face of the crystal. Strap options include this fabric, a leather, which I can show you in a moment, a bund strap, which is like a leather strap with a leather pad that goes under the head of the watch, and there's also a steel bracelet option. The Ranger is a pretty cool watch, and it's one that people went pretty nuts for at Baselworld, myself included. I think it's a great design. They've kind of taken a Tudor stab at the Explorer. It's based on a model from the late 60s, and what they've done is just upsized it a bit, so you're looking again at a 41mm case, and it wears beautifully, nice and light, light enough that you almost wouldn't notice it's even on wrist. Timekeeping is provided by the Tudor 2824, which is of course an ETA 2824. So in the event that you're not in the know on these, the Tudor kind of system is to use an ETA movement or a third-party movement at least, and then they use Rolex to make the cases and such. So what you end up with is a very reliable watch with a good movement. It's easy to service and an absolutely outstanding case for this price point. So again, using a 2824, it's automatic, 25 joules, 4 hertz, 38-hour power reserve, and perhaps my most favorite thing about the Ranger and its use of that movement is they've deleted the date, and I think it really preserves kind of the true essence of a field watch, of the kind of tough, everyday, very legible, and then there's no date to kind of mess with the balance of the dial. I think they got the proportions just right on the majority of the design seen in the Ranger. So here we have a nice close view of the Tudor Ranger's case. Arguably one of the best features of any of the current lineup from Tudor is the case. They're beautifully made, especially for this price point. Manufactured by Rolex. Like I said, you get a nice short lug here, so it's a 48mm lug to lug, very tractable on a normal sized wrist, and a nice proportion for a 41mm case. You also get drilled lugs, excellent feature, especially in a watch like the Ranger. In my opinion, the straps that are included are fine, and they certainly have lovely hardware, which I can show you in a moment. But this watch really sings on like a $10 NATO or Zulu strap. It's just the best. It works really well, and it complements the case and kind of military field watch kind of design that we see in the Ranger. The dial is all business. There's no ornamentation at all aside from the red second hand. It is a fairly flat dial aesthetically, but you get a lot of lume. You get a minute hand that's the proper length. Some people are bothered by the extent to which the crown sits above the case here. I'll admit that at first when I brought the Ranger out of the box and had it on wrist for a few moments, I noticed it, and then after about a day of wearing it, I no longer noticed it. The crown's really easy to use, and I don't think this is a problem on the Ranger. It would be nice if it was flush fitted, but if this makes it in any way more tough or protects the crown in any way, then I like this system, and it feels really solid. As promised, here's the luminous treatment on the Ranger. I think it's really good. It's nice and bright, preserves the legibility of the watch in the low light conditions. It lasts quite a long time. I would say it's comparable with most dive watches I've come across, especially ones that have similar sized markers and hands. The hands, and including the little marker at the tip of the second hand, which is a very welcome addition, have a little bit more lume. They glow a little bit longer. Before we get to on-wrist impressions, one note about the fabric strap included with the Ranger and even the Black Bay Blue. The strap itself is not your normal NATO that threads through and out the other side. The strap actually does have a sewn in spring bar slot for each side. So fitting, it's very easy, especially with the drilled lugs on the Ranger. But it isn't your normal kind of slip through the other side NATO. So with the Ranger on wrist, we can first take a look at this strap. So it's the camo kind of fabric style strap, super comfortable. I'm not big on camo, but this actually kind of grew on me. You get a really nice Tang buckle, kind of Tudor styling there. And then the keepers here actually are much nicer than average, a nice stronger metal, and they have kind of chamfered edges on them. Nice details for an included strap, and Tudor's one of the few brands that are including straps like this along with whatever other strap option you kind of feature with the watch. So if you buy the watch with the bracelet, then you can also get the fabric strap. And I think it gives you a completely different way of wearing the watch, but it also serves a kind of watch enthusiast community that's constantly buying straps for their watch. On wrist, the Ranger itself is light. On this strap, I actually found a few times that I felt like I had forgot to put it on, or I would be walking somewhere and think like, is it there? And you'd have to look, and sure enough, it is there. It's just a very light, very comfortable watch, especially on something like the fabric strap. With again a 48mm lug to lug, it sits really nicely on my wrist, which is fairly flat and about 7 inches around. Every strap I tried with the Ranger worked, and it really is one of those versatile designs that just looks really cool. So let's take a peek at the leather strap, and to give you an idea what that looks like. And on the leather, you can see the Ranger takes on kind of a completely different vibe. It almost has a bit of an aviator appeal to it. I like to wear my deployants upside down, but either way, you get a really nice release and a nicely fitting strap. It's kind of a nice soft leather, definitely nicely made, and I think it looks great on the watch. I don't think it looks better than a simple NATO, simply because of the style of watch, kind of the field watch, I think kind of sings on a NATO strap or a fabric strap. But this is definitely the sort of watch where I would have like a dozen different straps for it and just change it. It takes no time to change it, and it looks great. So with the Tudor Ranger, and again, this is the reference 79910, you're looking at a price point of $2,825 to $2,950, depending on fabric, leather, bund, or steel bracelet. At that price point, there's lots of competition for your money, but very little with a case that's this nice. Next to nothing really that says Tudor on it. I would say that some of the nearest competition would actually be watches like the Black Bay, which are very hot, very well made, and really interesting, kind of compelling divers. For a similar style, you could go with something like a Hamilton, which might even use a similar version of the 2824 movement. But this is a big leap in terms of case design and overall wearability. I think they nailed the sizing and the proportions, and I think the Ranger should definitely be on your list for consideration this year. This is just a great watch. For aBlogtoWatch, my name is James Stacey. This is my review of the Tudor Ranger. Thanks very much for watching.